All right, Shalom. This is Hara One by Yasha of the Lions Den Camp. Before I begin, I want to say Kal Halayim, La Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Harakah Kodash, Ma'amah. Double honor to the elder apostles of GMS and the elders. Shalom to you, Akim, Nakwatim, and children that believe in sincerity and truth around the four corners of the earth. Uh, Today's expose or lesson is going to be dealing with this right here. All right. This wasn't the focus of my lesson, but I figured why not add a little backdrop to this topic. Because we're in a time of the Lord exposing false prophets, false camps, false teachers, and it's going to get exposed more and more as we move closer to the end. The Lord is going to test and see who truly loves Him. All right, in your personal situations, out in the open, either or, but the Lord is testing to see who truly loves Him. Are you building your camp? Are you building in this faith? Are you, to build up a community or to build up your finances? Are you teaching only to give glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai? Now you can tell those that have folded for the bag. You working on the internet is not folding. Like if people have internet pages or you podcasting and things like that. But I'm talking about those that have made this truth mingled with filthy lucre, with money, making merchandise of the people. And you'll always hear them say, those ones that making a lot of money off these scriptures, they start saying Christ. You'll never hear them say Yahweh out in the open. You'll never hear him you'll never really hear him say Yahweh in the conversation. You'll hear him say the Most High in Christ bless. All praise to the Most High. Like they'll never just say His name, giving glory to Him. All right, with everything they do. But yeah, I had this picture up here, man. Damn. Yep. I ain't even see. Let me see something. This is Luke 20 and 46. I wasn't planning to go here, but we're gonna go there because y'all remember Sakari, and now they call themselves Genesis. And this picture, they say a picture speaks 1,000 words. Right? Look at the balloons. Look at the chairs. Fake gold. You know that. The whole posture. And now there's a video out where he's saying, "Hey, you a fool for believing him." And this guy named Gorilla Hebrew chief priest, putting himself, exalting himself. Look at the security. Look, they got to stand there. There was another video. He would walk down the street with his camp members, and they all have firearms, and he'll be walking in the middle. So, like Malcolm X. All right. And this guy here, he's another false prophet. I pray the Most High expose this devil soon. Bald head, edged up, baseball cap. All about the money, man. So not to get all personal, but yeah, I wasn't even planning on putting this picture. It just came across my my feed while I was putting my scriptures together. I typed in false prophets. I guess the Gorilla John was still in my algorithm, and these pictures popped up, and I just used it. But it's saying a lot, man. And it's perfect for this lesson I'm about to do. So let's get into it. I want to start off with Matthew 7 and 13. All right, and let's see where the Spirit takes us. Actually, I want to start off with Luke 20 and 46 with this picture in the backdrop. Beware of the scribes which desire to walk in long garments, long robes, and love greetings in the marketplace. They want to be famous, and the high seats in the synagogues, the highest, the chiefest, the chiefest seats in the synagogues, right? The highest seat in the synagogues says a lot, man. And the highest, they love sitting in the highest seats in the synagogues and the chief rooms at feast. All right, they call themselves the chief. All right, so you gotta be aware of these type of people that claim to be the trustees of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai when they clearly can't be trusted with his word, with the work of the ministry. You got people like IUIC trying to build a community out here and build up neighborhoods and all that madness. When the Lord said all that stuff gonna be burned up, everything you built in this place is gonna be judged, you know, melted. So the main thing to build up is the church, spiritual church. All right. Now, where is it at? Let me go ahead. Let's start off with Matthew 7:13. Enter ye in at the straight gate. All right. And what's going to happen when you. Salaki. Okay. Let me turn this down, Salaki. Turn it down. There you go. I want to make sure it's coming through my headphones. Um, what happens when you enter in at the straight gate? You're going to go through affliction. You know, to get to the kingdom, you're not going to have. You're not going to be making. I don't. You know, you're not going to make money off this truth, man. You know, it's a. You know, you're going to deal with a lot of persecution, right? Being a Hebrew Israelite, and that's what he couldn't stand the flame, so he got the hell out of the kitchen. He said, "I'm not a Hebrew Israelite no more." He trying to denounce it, so people. Here you go. See, it's called trimming his ways. All right. Again, he wasn't able to. These people weren't able to focus on my lesson, but spirit going there. Jeremiah 2:33. Why trimmest thou thy way to seek love? Therefore hast thou also taught the wicked ones thy ways, man. And they begin to boast even more. You know, these scoffers and 2/3. You've taught them to hate uh to denounce God even more. They see the prophets falling out, alleged prophets, right? So it says this: Why trimmest thou thy ways to seek love? Why are you going to denounce being a Hebrew Israelite just so you can seek the love of the world? Well, let's see what that says. One second. This is John 15:19. If ye were of the world would love his own. But because ye are not of the world, but I have chosen you out of the world, therefore the world hateth you. So you're gonna be hated. You know, and you should worry when too many people have love for you because that's a dangerous situation. You know, and it usually means something not right with that individual if they're not telling those people about the Lord. um, let me make sure. This is First John 2:15. Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him, man. See, I mean, he don't truly love Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua for him to walk away from calling himself a Hebrew Israelite or whatever he's doing. All right. So let's get back. It says Matthew 7:13, enter ye in at the straight gate. All right, so you got to enter in at the straight gate, and it deals with what? Affliction, persecution. That's to be tested. It's like a test ahead of us, and the Lord saying, walk through that path, and let's see if you get through it. You should come out like gold. And if you perish, then you perish. If everything you built falls, then it was meant to be. All right, for wide is the gate, and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction, and many there be which go in there at, right? So it's like being in the desert where there is no specific path to walk. You can go in any direction, and that's the broad way that leads to destruction, where you got like thousands of people at these churches and congregations, and there's money involved. Something ain't right, right? I mean, unless the money is being used correctly, but in these times we in, man, I believe it's better to just find another route, you know, to make money. Matthew 7:14, because straight is the gate and narrow is the way which leadeth unto life, and few there be that find it, right? And he said, it's better for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to make it into heaven. Because you have to cast off all of that. You gotta be willing to lose everything to serve the Lord. All right. Not saying you gotta walk around poor and broke, but you're not gonna be making money off teaching the scriptures, you know? Um, and that's just a fact in these times when you shouldn't be making a lot of money. Somebody give you a alms or something like that, it'd be kind of rude to turn it away. But to openly ask for whatever they was asking for that we know of, the calculations amongst their camp, amongst IUIC, ISUPK, all these different, these churches, Christian churches, they get in that bank. So they're not building on the foundation correctly. All right. Because straight is the gate and narrow is the way. Narrow, just like a needle gate. A needle gate is a small gate that Israel would use, or Judah would use in Jerusalem, I mean, to bring in cargo on the camel's back, in the late night. Because during the day, it was the wide gate was open, but in the nighttime, the narrow gate. And through that narrow gate, a lot of invaders couldn't creep in while they were bringing in the camels. It was more of a centralized or micromanaged entry. So you had to unload the camel for it to get through that small gate, that needle gate. Then you had sometimes they had to even get on their knees and slide them through. All right, and that's the same situation today. Only it's so narrow that only one man can go through at once. All right, so being in this walk, you're supposed to walk. Um, let me see. What do you say? Cast off. I ain't gonna get it, but casting off the old man. All right, casting off the way this world. But yeah, you're gonna have. You may have a business. You may be podcasting. You may. They got um be on TikTok, Twitch, Kick, all these different things. That's something personal. But when you saying I represent Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai and this video is for this, I don't believe the focus should be getting money off of it. When you build a congregation, you may need um some say they may need money to have a facility so people can meet. But the women ain't supposed to be there anyway. The women supposed to be learning from their husband at home. So what we need a community for, you can have funds or um a little bit of money to help out your camp, things like that. But the focus shouldn't be fame and trying to get money off of the scriptures like a church pastor do. All right, Matthew 7:15. beware of false prophets. So you got to beware. We in the time where there's going to be false prophets, and which come to you in sheep's clothing, man. All right, they weren't prophets from the beginning. They just put on that clothing that they are the sheep of the Lord or a man of the Lord, just so they can gain the rewards from it. You know, the tangible carnal rewards. All right, we seek. That's right. Okay, get that. So, like, give 1 second. Trying to type it in. All right, here you go. First Corinthians 9:25. And every man that striveth for the mastery is temperate in all things. See, now they do it. So you're gonna be temperate in all things. Let's get the word temperate. The Lord said, using this world without abusing it. You know, temperate. Let's get that. Temperate, relating to or denoting a region or climate characterized, no, showing moderation or self-restraint. So in everything, you're gonna use self-control. All right, use self-control in all things. Self-restraint. It says, as an example, it says Charles was temperate in his consumption of both food and drink. So if somebody was to give you some money for teaching, you want to be temperate with that. You want to be like, all right, see you next week. You're gonna pay the same price, right? Or you show up to camp, but hey, y'all got your money, you got your tithes, you got your. We've seen that a lot, and that's not right. All right. Now they do it to obtain a corruptible crown for fame, money, authority, clout. They call it clout chasing. All right. Now they do it to obtain a corruptible crown. You see that? Corruptible crown meaning carnal fame. Fame is corruptible. Is a corruptible crown. But we an incorruptible, man. So we're looking for that spiritual reward, not the worldly reward, which is praise from the people. See, this guy, Gorilla Hebrew, man, they started praising him too much. One dude called him the Messiah. They said, yo, when they saw him, they thought they saw the Messiah because the way he was presenting himself, you know. But John didn't do that. John immediately, um, soon as they asked him, was he the Messiah? He like, hell no. You know, you know, John told him immediately. Here you go. Here you go. Matter of fact, let me read this real quick. John 1 and 19. And this is the record of John when the Jews, Israelites, sent priests and Levites from Jerusalem to ask him, who art thou? And he confessed and denied not. He ain't denied not. He's confessed it immediately. But confessed, I am not the Messiah, the anointed one. All right. But there's a video of I forgot that guy's name, man. The one dude that be doing the interviews on No Jumper. He, he's a goofy though. Um, I forgot his name though. But anyway, he sneak not sneak. No, I forgot his name. But in that interview, he said, "Yo," he was saying when he met Gorilla Hebrew, he said, "Man, it was like he met the Messiah." That's because he was presenting himself that way. You know, I don't care how sharp you are in the scriptures, man. You're not the Messiah. You shouldn't even play around with that. You should immediately, I'd have did a response to that video, be like, "Hey, bro, I'm not the Messiah." Instead, he put it up on his page so all could see it. Like, yeah, look at that. Well, You know, and they always talk trash about John. In Zechariah, they talked against John. They talked against Paul, right? Well, let's see what John would have said. John 1 and 21. And they asked him, what then? Art thou Elijah? And he said, I am not. Art thou that prophet? And he said, no. See, he didn't even know that. Then said they unto him, who art thou, that we may give an answer to them that sent us? What sayest thou of thyself? Right? He said, I am the voice of the one crying in the wilderness, make straight the way of the Lord, as saith the prophet Isaiah. And that's what we should be telling people. We are just prophets that sent to cry in the wilderness, just like John the Baptist was. All right, we just prophets, man. You know, the Lord don't really need us, so we shouldn't be boasting like we some chief priest and gorilla Hebrew, which has nothing to do with the scriptures. You know, you're gonna be. The scriptures say, "Let another man's words praise thee." So you're gonna be acknowledged for your work. You know, but we shouldn't go out seeking vain glory. Vain glory. All right. So let's get back to Matthew 17. I mean 7 and 15. Beware of false prophets which come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravening wolves. All right. Inwardly they are ravening wolves. You know, ravening meaning to plucking off. You know, to eat from anywhere. If I'm not mistaken, let me see. Ravening. Yep. It says of a ferocious wild animal, extremely hungry and hunting for prey. They turned on each other like ravening wolves, turning on each other. Haven't we seen that? You know, a ravening wolf is like trying to just bite off from anywhere, and if you try to get next, they're gonna attack you too. You know, they be against each other, but then they're not. But they rule in packs. The ravening wolves, ferocious. All right. So hold up. Let me look at one more thing. It says in the Bible, ravening generally means eagerly preying on or devouring with rapacity, often in a violent and greedy manner. Damn. All right. Dest- Destructive desire to plunder or consume, similar to how a wolf might attack and devour its prey. And the prey was uh their followers, Sakari's followers, man. Look at that dude standing in the back. He was willing to give his life for this man. And he's just like, that's on y'all for following me. I'm out. That's what he said in a recent interview. That's on y'all for putting me in that exalted seat. And now look, he's out. You know, the hireling careth not for the sheep. All right, I ain't even gonna play the video. Um, I saw it on I think it was GMS Bible Teacher video page. I saw it on his page, man. Where Sakari said it, man. You know, that's on them for follow. Let me see if I can find it. If I have time to find it, let me see. All right, I think I found it. Let's see. All right, here it is. And let's listen in. Hopefully you can hear it. Fair use, fair use. All right, it says Gorilla Hebrew says his followers let themselves down. Wow. See that? So this is a hireling. If you ever seen one, boy, this is one.
I can only disappoint somebody who puts me in a position in their mind where they think I'm above something that I never said I was above. I hate to talk about this. No, you're all right, but that's the problem. I knew niggas was gonna feel let down but they really let themselves down in a position in their mind where they think I'm above something that I never said I was above. In a position in their mind where they think I'm above something that I never said I was above.
Really look what he uploads on his channel. Let's see. Here you go. This is what I was talking about. Look.
A guy that
Now this guy here, he's a demon, man. He's a demon too. And once you see who this is, all right, you can just tell by his demeanor or his visage.
I think is one of like the most impactful, important men, I think, in American history.
It says the reprobate Gorilla Hebrew uploads this video on his page comparing himself to Yahushua, and he comments that he agrees. Damn. So he commented on his own clip that he agrees.
Which is
Allegedly.
Gorilla Hebrew, right?
Yeah.
Where you meet Gorilla Hebrew, you feel like you meet Jesus. He's stoic, he's wise, he's calm, the stature, bro. Like when you meet him, bro, like and you feel the energy and the
You
aura.
felt like you met Jesus when you met that?
It felt like Jesus. You feel me?
When you met that?
It felt like Jesus. You feel me?
That's the problem. I knew niggas was gonna feel let down, but they really let themselves down. That's the problem. I knew niggas was gonna feel let down, but they really let themselves down.
See? All right. So he's saying they let themselves down for believing in him in the first place, which is true. All right. But let's go back to the scripture. Matthew 7:15. Beware of false prophets which come to you in sheep's clothing, man. Acting like they were sent by the Lord. Yeah, all right. But inwardly, they are ravening wolves, man, just looking to eat, just looking to get some money, looking for opportunity. Ye shall know them by their fruits. Do men gather grapes of thorns or figs of thistles? Right? You can't get figs or fruit from a thorn bush. You know, you're not gonna get the proper edification. All right. So when you hear their doctrine, they're gonna disrespect John. They're gonna disrespect Yahushua, saying you're not supposed to worship him. Uh, even Genesis. Let me go back to that one picture. Here you go. Him too. All right. He started his own thing now, and he's still moving in that same spirit. They both about that money when it comes to these scriptures. All right, look how they got these men standing around, man. I'll be like, yo, brother, your legs tired, man. Have a seat, man. We can guard ourselves, yo. We don't need you to guard the door and shit like that. Unless it's like a critical situation, then we would protect each other in shifts. I would watch the door too at some point. I just don't get it, man. I don't get it. I don't get it. It's crazy, man. All right, so this brother here and him, that's called devotion. And I'm sure they're upset at his statements. You know, that's their fault for believing in me. All right. That's why you gotta judge a tree by its fruits, man. You see them wearing baseball caps and teaching, sitting in the high seats. Two people in the like. We got two leaders in this camp, the main leaders in the camp. But you best believe, if we have an event or a Passover, I'm not gonna be sitting up on no podium and the camp sitting beneath me. If anything, it'd be the other way around. You know, I had a vision with this camp long ago. That it was a bunch of brothers on top of a hill. It was a bunch of people, but they was like shadows. They had like light around them, and I was on the bottom. I was at the bottom of the hill teaching up to them. You know, and I've lived part of that dream out so far, that vision. So it's not a, you know, so some people see things the other way around, like everybody is beneath them. All right. So we got to be aware of these false prophets, all right, ahead of time, because you don't want to waste all your time following these dudes, and then you find out it was some bullshit. Ye shall know them by their fruits. All right, that's what you focus on, the fruits, their doctrine, their intention. Do men gather grapes of thorns or figs of thistles? Even so, every good tree bringeth forth good fruit, but a corrupt tree, like a thorn bush or thistles, bringeth forth evil fruit. All right, corruption. So it's a fruit, but it's corrupt, poisonous. It can make you sick. It'd be a waste of time also. A good tree cannot bring forth evil fruit, neither can a corrupt tree bring forth good fruit, man. So eventually it's gonna show in their doctrine. It's like ISUPK, you see them out there with the black boots, the black outfits, looking like Public Enemy and shit, Black Panthers, right? Um, or you'll see them doing military drills and all this madness with spikes on their wrists, only giving honor to Yohana instead of Yahweh Shai. That's the only name you hear. You don't ever hear Yahweh Shai's name. You always hear Yohana. You don't even hear Yahweh. You hear Yohana. That's it with ISUPK. IUIC with their charades that they do out in the open, masquerading around, just marching and shit. And it's like, what the hell, man? Showing off their money, their record labels, all this, calling everybody bums that don't have the money like they doing. But then so you begin to say, all right, you're saying that you bear the fruit of the Lord. Let's check that fruit. And you go up to check it and see if it's an apple and it's a damn prune or some shit, or it's a rotten fruit from a thorn bush. It's not even a tree at all. What you thought was leaves was thorns. What you thought was an apple was a fucking pine cone. Okay, 'cause you were walking blindly. A good tree cannot bring forth evil fruit, neither can a corrupt tree bring forth good fruit. Every tree that bringeth not forth good fruit is hewn down and cast into the fire. So eventually, that congregation is going to fall. Look at this real quick. This is let's go to Acts 5:38. Now I say unto you, refrain from these men and let them alone, for if this counsel is the work of men, it will come to naught. All right. And he said, yeah, it's just a movement. All movements stop. If this counsel just of men, just their own carnal intentions, man, it's going to come to naught eventually. It's going to burn out either through persecution or through lack of money or ravening like wolves when, arguing about money and shit like that, power struggles within the camp. All right. Uh, but if it be of Yahweh, that's the purpose. If your whole focus is to praise the Most High, you're gonna win. Cause can't nobody take that from you. Who can take that? They can try to scoff or anything, but the Lord gonna stand for you at the end of the day. And everything you've built up in the spirit can withstand the fire. Everything we build up in the carnal is gonna melt anyway. Even your fame. You're famous because of the eyes of the watchers. Those watchers might get destroyed in judgment on the internet, the TV, wherever it's at. All that's going to be done away with. So we want to be famous in the eyes of the holy angels, famous in the eyes of the hopeful elect, in sincerity and in truth. You know, we can be famous for that, for being honorable. All right. So ye cannot overthrow it. See, but if it be of Yahweh, ye cannot overthrow it. Lest happily ye be found even to fight against Yahweh. All right. So, you come up against a true man of the Lord that's moving in the spirit, you're coming against Yahweh. All right. But if you come against Sakari or Gorilla, you're coming against a brand. All right. So Matthew 7 and 19, this ain't had nothing to do with my lesson today. My goodness. Probably gonna be. Let me see. What time? I got any more time? What time? 35 minutes. Let me see. All right, let's keep going. Matthew 7:20. Wherefore by their fruits ye shall know them, man. And that's the focus. You gotta look at it spiritually, not carnally. Like, oh, they cool. They probably some cool people. But if you look at it spiritually, representing the Most High, like Moses did, and all the prophets of the scriptures, like Yahushua, then you're gonna see they're not moving right. If you judge these people by their fruits, the spirit, the wisdom. All right, let's get this one. Let's go ahead real quick. It says Luke 6:46, and why call ye me Lord, Lord, and do not the things which I say? All right. Whosoever cometh to me and heareth my sayings and doeth them, I will show you to whom he is like. He is like a man which built an house and digged deep. All right, dig deep upon the foundation, man. When you dig deep, you want that. If you want a house to stay and be unmovable, you're gonna dig that foundation real deep and build it upon that bedrock at the bottom. You know, um, the deeper you go, and us that are sincere in this truth, we built our foundation going so deep, way back to Abraham, to the faith of Abraham, all the way up until the prophets, the disciples of Yahweh Shai, which the foundation was laid with Peter, right? Yahweh Shai and Peter. So that's our our house is built upon Yahweh Shai, all right, and laid the foundation on a rock. See that? So you dig real deep as you can until you hit bedrock, and then you build upon that, and that's what makes the structure stronger. Your foundation keep you from being uprooted. And when the flood arose, all right. So you got the flood in many ways: persecution, adversity, Jacob's trouble, Esau moving in like a flood, the destruction, the overflowing scourge. So when these things arise and the stream beat vehemently upon that house, that's adversity and affliction, and ultimately the missiles, right? The judgments, and could not shake it, man. You won't be shaken. That house will not move. It won't shake, right? For it was founded upon a rock, not upon dirt, not upon sand, but upon a rock. And that rock is Yahushua. But he that heareth and doeth not is like a man that without a foundation built a house upon the earth. And we watch people build their ministry on this earth, against which the streams did beat vehemently, and immediately it fell. And the ruin of that house was great. And we watched Sakari fall. All right, just the little bit of persecution that came against him and offenses. He got exposed for you know, self sodomization. I don't know what the fuck they're gonna call it. Um. So yeah. All right. So Psalm 91. When all hell break loose, you want your house to be protected. You want to stand firm, and people that you built up in this faith, you want them to stand firm as well. You know, to make it through Jacob's trouble, to make it through the judgment to come. All right. So let's go. It says Matthew 7:21. Not everyone that saith unto me, Lord, Lord, shall enter into the kingdom. All right. Just because they're saying, Lord, Lord, that don't mean they're gonna be of the first fruits. They may have to be destroyed and brought back as a baby and still be in the kingdom, of course. But you want to be one of the first fruits to enter into the kingdom. But he that doeth the will of my Father which is in heaven. All right. Many will say to me in that day, Lord, Lord, have we not prophesied in thy name? And in thy name have cast out devils? And in thy name done many wonderful works? And then will I profess unto them, I never knew you. Why? Because you have to teach them with guns on you, teach them with baseball caps, saying Yahweh name, but you getting $10,000 and $20,000 from these damn people, man. And where's it all gone? What was the benefit of it? All right. And then will I profess unto them, I never knew you. Depart from me, ye that work iniquity. All right. People like ISUPK. You got these other camps out here, Whiffy, that's not teaching the truth about the mark of the beast. You know, so they're leading our people into a trap. So you can say, yeah, Yahweh Shai this, Yahweh that, but Yahweh Shai came to warn people, man. You gotta get the proper vibration, just like the scriptures say. All right, the trumpet cannot give an uncertain sound. It got to be certain and clear. So let me see if I got any other precepts I want to get real quick, because this was not my lesson, but yeah, I might come back to this joint. All right, so yeah, man, this is a response, I guess, to that video I saw of Sakari's interview. All right, right here. That's what we'll title this one, man. All right, the hireling. I want to go into the two foundations, but I want to do it on a separate lesson. All right, that's what I'm gonna call it, the two foundations, and I'll get back into it. So I'm gonna wrap this one up, man. But yeah, people like this gonna get exposed more and more. What they've built is not gonna last. Even that chief gorilla title. Look at him. He like, yeah, this is some bullshit. All right. So yeah, man. Be careful who you exalt in this society. A lot of people are calling him a man of the Lord. A lot of people are calling him a man of the Lord, man. You know, because he had that big movement. He wasn't stopping. He was arrogant. And they knew he was wrong, but they were still calling him a man of the Lord. And now look.